Hey, we always end our show with IQ test. That's our bold predictions for the future Browns. It's always so much fun, but what's more fun than that is our sponsor for that segment, Ticket IQ. Go to ticketiq.com or download Ticket IQ's app on your phone, and you can get 5% off. Actually, it's really easy to just go through our link. If you go to our Twitter for this podcast, you'll see our description and everything. You'll see this tweeted out later. Use the link for 5% off and use the code LPG5 to get the discount on your next ticket purchases. Of course, you want 5% off if you're going to that Carolina Panthers-Browns home game. If you've got a Cavs game coming up on your calendar, you're going to want 5% off that next ticket purchase. Ticket IQ is your smartest ticket search, offering the largest and most diverse ticket inventory for live events. All tickets are guaranteed with that 100% buyer protection, providing a safe and secure ticket purchase for any type of live event, including the Browns, Indians, Cavs, Buckeyes, Blue Jackets, concerts, even WWE and more. Whenever you find a ticket listed as a low price guarantee, you'll know that's the lowest price for that ticket on the market. So get with Ticket IQ. Use that promo code LPG5. Save 5% on your ticket. You'll find the link in our iTunes description or on our Twitter. Thanks, and cheers.
Brownie Sunday, wake up in the late afternoon. Call Rod Bloom just to see how he's doing. Yo, what's up, Rod? Hey, Chad, what's happening? You thinking what I'm thinking? Cleveland Sports Talk, man, it's happening.
Hello and welcome into the Brownie Sunday podcast for Week 13. I'm your host, Chad Painter, with my co-host, Rod Bloom, also Vice President of Cleveland Sports Talk, on the line here. What's up, Rod?
Hey, Chad. How you doing?
Oh, better now that you're here, man. It's a lonely day. You know, just kind of mulling over this loss. You really wanted the momentum to keep going into this game, and man, the Texans are just well-rounded. So it was a loss, but we're going to talk about it here. Also joining the table with us here is James Turner. He's a radio personality, aspiring sports analyst, and an impressionist. In the future, hopefully we get him to do a Hugh Jackson impersonation. But he's here today. What's up, James?
Hey, fellas. How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Hey, James. Doing great.
Yeah, dude. So good to have you here. Thanks for coming on. We're going to kick it off with the What Are We Drinking, as we usually do. Rod, I'll kick it to you first. You've been our kind of pioneer to lead us through this segment. And it looks like you are taking the challenge a little bit of the Abita that we heard last week.
Well, you know, Gregg came on last week and talked about the Abita, I believe it was a Christmas ale.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he said it wasn't too good, essentially. So I'm feeling a little edgy after that game, guys. Just I'm kind of like, you know,
to do
ready to just kind of do something crazy. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go for the Abita Amber and see if it's, you know, if it's as bad or what, you know, that Gregg said the Christmas ale was. And I mean, he talked about the bottle, and it is a pretty attractive bottle on this one too. You know, that's probably
we'll
why
send a
I
search party if we don't hear from you after an hour.
Yeah. It's okay. It's not bad. You know, I think between this and what Gregg said about the Christmas ale, I don't think I'll be seeking out Abita anymore, but it's all right. I've had a lot better ambers, but, you know, I don't have a problem with it. I'm not going to mix it up with any cleaning solutions that I have in the house.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna pull through on this one, guys.
That sounds like a good choice.
You know, Abita, if you're listening and you're wanting to be a sponsor, Rod's not trying to hit you too hard. We'll take you. James, did you bring anything to the table for us today?
All right. Well, fellows, I decided to, you know, cut back on the grandpa's old cough medicine here. So my delicious drink of choice is high quality H2O.
All right.
Hey, that's
the
all
Water
right.
Boy. I love that.
Yeah, we get one of those every now and then.
That's some high quality H2O.
Shoot, what's his name from Waterboy? What's Adam Sandler's character? I'm blanking on it.
Bobby Boucher.
Bobby Boucher. We could draft Bobby Boucher. I'd be happy with it.
Oh yeah, I'll take him.
I'll take him. come under Joe Schobert's tutelage. He'll be phenomenal.
We could bring Mama in as coach.
Wait. Hey, we're looking at everybody apparently. So,
Right.
all right, I'll shift over here. So I went to Christmas sale and I tried a new one, and it's Breckenridge, which I've been getting their variety packs lately, which comes with like a porter, an IPA, a mango wheat, and something else, an agave wheat. And they made a Christmas sale, and they're trying to really go a new direction, and really, they've had kind of those 4 staple beers for a while, kind of like a Blue Moon, and now they're branching out and creating their Christmas ale. I think they had an October ale, and so they're trying some new stuff, and it was really, really good. And I don't know, it wasn't Great Lakes or Thirsty Dog, but it was pretty good. It was toasty. You could imagine yourself at a fireplace with it, so I enjoyed it during the game. It was 10%, so I was just not trying to get too crazy with it. I wasn't trying to go
like a
Abita.
slow drinking beer, huh?
Yeah.
Oh, we found the Breckenridge spokesman over here, man.
The Breckenridge, yeah.
Yeah.
Not a sponsor yet, but they're coming. They're coming.
Yeah, I've seen that. So I've seen that in the stores and kind of thought about getting it, but I think I already have 2 different Christmas ales in my fridge that I'm saving for a little closer to Christmas.
Yeah.
So I was kind of wondering what your take would be on the Breckenridge.
Yeah, I definitely love it. I mean, everything they make, I've been in their corner of. So yeah, it was pretty good. I mean, I'm just bent towards the Cleveland ones. Obviously, this one's from Denver, Colorado, or Breckenridge, Colorado, near Denver. So I guess it was kind of an ode to Demaryius Thomas today for coming over to the Texans and playing us.
Yeah.
So
Right.
yeah, definitely. If you find it, Rod, I think you'll enjoy it.
I will check it out, Chad.
Check it out. So let's give out some game balls here. I know it's going to be a rough one. Only 2 touchdowns for us today, and really got handled by the Texans. But Rod, who would you give a game ball to on the Browns?
Well, I was a little bit torn here. Yeah, I almost thought about giving it to Myles Garrett because, at one point I looked and he was credited with 2 sacks, and then I looked after the game and it said he had a sack and a half. So, so pretty much just a good, solid game for Myles. Baker had a rough first half, but you know what? He almost threw for 400 yards today, so I'm giving him a game ball just because he led the charge in the second half. If they could have had some things go their way, they could have gotten back into this game. But, guys, the ball never bounced right for the Browns all day. It just didn't. Things just didn't happen today.
Yeah,
So
no
Baker,
Cleveland bounce today.
No, every fumble, everything, just didn't go our way. So I'm going to give Baker kind of a rookie quarterback learning experience game ball. And to see him come close to throwing for 400 yards in this game and kind of almost making it interesting if Callaway could have scored there, on a day when there weren't a lot of outstanding performances, I'm going to go with Baker.
And yeah, the interceptions suck. Absolutely. The Texans are such a well-rounded team. Their defense, I haven't watched much of them this year. Yeah, they are just pretty much a Pro Bowl defense on its own. When you look at the players, you forget how good they are, which is kind of cool because they were a franchise who are newer, really, kind of like the Browns. They came back into the league, had their resurgence. They were pretty bad for a long, long time, and through the draft and through the process, now look at them.
Right, they became known for their defense a few years ago, and then they got Watson, and man, they turned that team around. Lamar Miller is re-energized. That guy's playing out of his mind too.
Absolutely,
their offense is a lot better than I thought. A lot better than I expected today.
Yeah, and hopefully it's prophetic of what we can be in just the next couple of seasons. Just to speak to that, I know it was tough to give Baker that game ball because of the interceptions. But you're right, man. I was surprised. I didn't realize he threw almost 400 yards. James Palmer interviewed Tyrann Mathieu after the game. Said, "What was your game plan to force Baker into that kind of those interception problems?" And he went, "Man, that kid can ball." So we had to disguise everything, and I'll get into that a little bit later. But he was like, this kid can ball. Like, he's a good football player, and he's only a rookie, and we had to throw him everything. So he tipped his hat to him at the end there.
Yeah.
Absolutely. He's what a great kid though. Is the attitude never changes. He comes in every game ready to win, despite what he's like. I know what I have to fix. He goes the next game and he shows it to us every time.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't throw an interception the rest of our 4 games, just because he will beat himself up over this, for lack of a better term. He's going to go and watch film. He's going to go practice. He's going to be the first one into the building, last one out. He's going to be that kind of a guy already and that kind of a leader, and he's going to fix those problems quickly. So, yeah, throwing 3 interceptions and being able to throw about 400 yards, and he had no rushing yards today. I mean, this is all from the pocket on the Texans defense. I liked it. So, yeah, you got to give a game ball to him. All right, we'll shift over here to James. What do you have for us? You're going to give out a different game ball.
All right, so I'm going to have to bless him. I'm going to have to go with my man Jarvis Juice.
Yeah.
The reason I have to is, like you said, the second half that was pretty ugly, but I felt like he fought the entire second half. He had 6 receptions for over 100 yards. He just kept going. Even I think one of the last balls thrown, he caught it out of bounds. He just was going for him. He gave everything he had. So I think he deserves that game ball today.
Yeah, I'm with you. Definitely. I mean, yeah, he was full effort for the whole game. And, I felt like this – I almost felt like this was, I don't know, maybe his best game just because he kind of stepped up when they really needed somebody to. And,
it was like a coming out party in a way for him.
Yeah, I mean, granted, they didn't come back and win this game, but when you're trying to come back on a team, you need your leader to step up, and that's exactly what Landry did today.
Absolutely.
You need those receivers like this kind of mindset that he seems to be showing. You've seen it with Rob Gronkowski in pressers. Go, Tom Brady's my quarterback. That's who I'm playing for. And Jarvis is really doing that in our presser, saying Baker's my quarterback already. And you saw it today, not just words, it was in his play. And he gave everything to Baker. Yep. You remember that play near the end of the game, I think near the end of the third quarter. You could tell we were going to lose. And still, Baker is elusive in the pocket, confident in the pocket, gets away from a tackle, rolls out, and then flings it to Juice. And it wasn't quite on target. He could have... Actually, he could have had a few more seconds there to really set himself and throw the ball. He still flung it, and Juice gave everything to try and catch that ball, all like 6 foot of him only. And he did catch it.
It's truly a far cry from, the Browns we were watching last season.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They're playing for their coaches. They're playing for their quarterback. It doesn't matter if it looks like we're going to lose this game. Here's a leader on the offensive side who has been a Pro Bowler, who's given his everything to this team. He's not getting down because they're probably not going to the playoffs this year. Not going to the playoffs this year for sure, but still in it. And you love to have that kind of mindset. So, yeah, great game ball there, man. 103 yards. Love it. I'm going to go on the opposite side of the receiving core here. I'm actually going to give a game ball to Antonio Callaway, even though he did drop the ball. Not drop the ball, he got the ball forced out right before that touchdown. Would have been touchdown. He actually had 2 tries in a row to get a score. One was a flag on Gregg Robinson, and right after that, he was running towards the end zone. It was 3-on-1, and he got the ball punched out at the 1-yard line and fumbled, and they recovered in the end zone. But But still, this kid had 3 catches for 84 yards on 6 targets. He was definitely another target for Baker. They seemed to be building rapport, and Callaway looked a lot more confident out there. And the way that Baker ran over and tapped him on the head.
Callaway.
It is, yeah. More than ever this season, I saw, okay, this kid can be like the next maybe Deshaun Jackson level kind of player. I mean, he just takes the top off.
That's a perfect example. That's exactly the kind of player I see him, like a big play, quick, deep threat kind of receiver.
Yeah, I saw that spark. And it's his first season. So he's coming up on 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. Like, not a bad rookie year with all the kind of turmoil we've had with coaches getting kicked out of here. And
front office issues.
Yeah, and he's had his own games where he's really struggled. And to really be at the end of the season starting to show he's got it and he's feeling more comfortable, the game's not too fast for him. He seems to be running routes better. I love that.
Yeah, I love that game ball, Chad.
It's a great game ball.
It definitely is. I mean, yeah, he fumbled the ball. It got knocked out, but, and we could talk about it, but that call on Gregg Robinson was to me, it was kind of iffy. Yeah, he had his arm around the guy.
Yeah.
It was ticky-tack. I mean, you could call something like that on every play, and it seemed like they started hitting the Browns with all kinds of penalties in the second half.
Yeah.
The officials were trying to take over the game. You could see that.
They didn't call anything in the first half, on either team. They were letting stuff go, and then all of a sudden the second half, you start calling all this stuff. I just thought it was kind of garbage. So,
and on the subject of Gregg Robinson, I actually think he's been a delightful surprise the past few weeks of all people.
He has been, yeah. Yeah, the O-line's played well, but yeah, I definitely, Callaway's been catching the ball. He had some drops earlier on in this season. The last few games, he's been catching the ball, and he's looked like, I think, the guy we thought we might be getting in the draft, but
yeah, he's been pretty consistent.
Yeah, I was, he has been consistent.
Yeah, I like it. Yeah, Gregg Robinson, I mean, it's been tough. We saw the same thing with Desmond Harrison. When we play defenses that are at this level in the NFL, like the Houston Texans, earlier on in the year we played defenses like the Ravens, where they're sending edge rushers that are going to get past the left tackle if he doesn't have help. I mean, it's hard to fill the hole of Joe Thomas. And to have him try to stop every edge rusher every time coming after your rookie quarterback, at some point you're going to get holding calls. But yeah, I mean, I think both of them have played as well as you can at left tackle, filling the void of Joe Thomas and getting these tough defenses like we've gotten. This isn't Cincinnati or Atlanta, which has no real edge rush to come after us. So those games are going to be tough for us, like today.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's move on here to Thrive or Dive, and we'll kick it to Rod to start it off. Thrive or Dive is brought to you by Thrive Fantasy. Brownie Bakers, gotta tell you about this fantasy app. If you haven't heard yet, go get on Thrive Fantasy today. I'm going to tell you how you can get a free $10 match when you deposit $10 for your first time at the end of this commercial. But I want to tell you a little bit more about them, get you psyched up about this. Thrive is the new way to play all your daily fantasy sports. Great football and basketball contests going on in the Thrive lobby right now. It's Monday Night Football tonight. The Eagles are taking on the Redskins. Divisional matchup. It's going to be fun. Here's how you can do this. You're going to pick 10 prop picks. You're going to pick the over-under on actual players, not the game, but on players, and build a fantasy lineup. It's really creative. So much fun to play this, guys. For instance, if you want Carson Wentz on your team, you can pick the over-under on him throwing 259.5 total yards. You think that he'll get the over? You will earn your team 95 fantasy points. If you pick the under and you're right, you'll receive 105 fantasy points. You see how it works. You do that 10 times and you build a fantasy lineup. It's really cool. It's really unique, and it's brand new this year. And they're doing some great things with it. So go win yourself some cash. Again, told you, how can you get $10 for free? They're going to give you $10 extra once you sign up and deposit $10 in your account. So you get $20 immediately to play in some of their awesome contests there. Basketball or football, use our link, bit.ly/Cleveland Sports Talk to get that discount. Again, it's a bit.ly link, bit.ly/Cleveland Sports Talk. Cheers. Rod, what is your Thrive and Dive for us today in Cleveland Sports Talk?
Well, guys, it's not easy to come up with a thrive out of this game. And, I don't think we have really anything thriving for the Indians right now. So I tried to find something for the Browns, and what was thriving was the pressure they had on Deshaun Watson. I can't really say the defensive line is thriving because they gave up a whole bunch of rushing yards today. But being able to sack Deshaun Watson 4 times, I thought that was, a pretty good effort. And hopefully we'll just keep seeing, this defensive line continue to grow and continue to be able to apply pressure on quarterbacks, because that's, we all know that's kind of where things start for a defense. So to be able to get Deshaun Watson 4 times today, I didn't expect that, just because he is such an elusive guy, so fast. I thought the 4 sacks those were excellent, so I think that's my thrive for today. My dive is going to be the Browns running game, which was, pretty much non-existent today, and that's not a knock on Nick Chubb. I mean, the Browns were pretty much had the running game taken away from them early because Houston got out to that, pretty good sized lead. They probably should have tried running a little bit more to get things going, but Nick Chubb only got 9 carries, no carries for Duke, and it's kind of hard to see after, I think, what did Chubb have? Was it 28 carries last week, and he drops down to 9 this week. So, definitely a dive this week for the running game, and hopefully we'll see Chubb and maybe Duke get back into the act, in these next few games.
Yeah, I mean, definitely game script there just forced us to get in the gun and throw the ball all game. Chubb did get the touchdown, so that's nice. But yeah,
because I know you were playing him in fantasy, Chad, right?
I did throw him in the flex today.
Yep.
Yeah, I started out the season with no running backs because Leonard Fournette was my first running back pick, and then had the hamstring problem all season. And now is suspended today. So
yeah, I got him off the waiver wire for free.
Oh, that's nice. I can't imagine someone dropping him, but yeah, that's always nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just making moves throughout the year and picking Nick Chubb up off the waivers. I picked up Aaron Jones up off the waivers when Leonard Fournette was suspended, so made a trade for Todd Gurley somehow, some way, and made my way to having those 3 as my stable of backs.
Got a nice little lineup, yeah.
Pretty solid, yeah.
Yeah, it's nice. So.
I'd have to agree with Rod, though, about Chubb. I think there needs to be more consistency with his carries.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I think it was just tough today. Like I said, just the flow of the game makes you have to pass the ball.
Yeah.
And that's hence, close to 400 yards for sure. But, you could also implement Duke in a lot of that passing game and just try to dink and dunk and work your way down the field with a Duke Johnson. That's been more so that side of things is kind of scary to me. You give him the contract and we don't use him like a New England Patriots would use James White or how the Falcons use Tevin Coleman.
In the slot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, Duke Johnson could be just as good as those guys. We know that. And, yeah, for him to only have Baker throws for 400 yards and almost, and Duke has 12 receiving yards on 2 catches. So that's definitely surprising.
I think it'll work itself out next year. I think next season is when we'll really have a set vision of the future with our coaching for real, and then Duke will actually they'll get a game plan around Duke Johnson and what he can be for the team. So, and definitely Nick Chubb. I'm not scared of that he got that many carries. I think next week he'll be back to normal. I think it was just the way the game played out.
Yeah.
But real quickly, you mentioned the Indians earlier, real briefly, Rod, and this whole Trevor Bauer thing. I know I'm taking a tangent here, but is this kind of like friendly messing around with the other pitchers? Him coming out and saying what he's saying and how he's tweeting at them, or is it some ill will and he's really trying to throw people under the bus so that he stays?
That's a good question.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you for sure.
It's out of his character, so I think he might truly be upset. I think he might be upset because it's out of his character.
He probably is upset at, seeing some of the team dismantled too. So.
Exactly. When they let Bruce and Santana and those guys last year, I couldn't believe it. Yeah. And they just let them walk, They're not replacing the guys they're getting rid of.
He's just this kind of eccentric, stoic thinker kind of a guy who has dry humor, and I don't really know.
It's real hard to figure out.
He's very difficult, to read. So I'm trying to understand because he's throwing out the numbers. Dustin Fox was talking about this on 92.3 The Fan the other day, where he's like, no athlete just comes out and says, like, these are the numbers, and so you shouldn't get rid of me because
right.
I'm more financially savvy.
It's like pleading your case,
Yeah. Which it's all public knowledge, but he's like the first player to ever come out and be like, this is my case. It's about the money, and so it just makes sense to move on from somebody else. It's just
right.
And the other, like, Clevenger came out and said, like, well, I could put together a Google spreadsheet like that with numbers in it. And kind of, it was like I don't know if it was like a friendly bash at Bauer, or if it was like, dude, you're an idiot. Like, anybody can do what you're doing. I can't tell. So I'm just at a loss for understanding the Indians off season right now. Sorry for the tangent.
No, it's going to be something to watch.
Yeah.
I think we're all a little confused right now. So hopefully they'll do something, or we'll at least see a direction out of this eventually.
Yeah. Okay, well, I'll throttle us back here. James, can you give us your thrive and die for Cleveland sports right now?
All right, brother. Thrive. Now, I know the Browns lost today, but, Baker's attitude and leadership, kept the team fighting. And that's going to continue to build that chemistry and help us thrive. I believe that getting Chubb involved is also going to, help us thrive. The grit and the heart of the team. And then for dive, I actually have a few complaints. I think the Indians front office, I know we just kind of were talking about it. I think letting the guys walk and then, not bringing anyone in to replace them or having AAA guys come in to replace them isn't helping. And also the Cavs front office telling us that we had a playoff contender this year and putting on the kind of filth that we've been seeing for the past 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah. Nobody believed it, but yeah, why would you say that? Why would you say we're going to be a playoff contender?
At least we've seen some flashes. I've enjoyed the flashes out of the Cavs.
I feel like they just don't know what lineup to play. Like, they don't know who to play together. And they just keep mixing it up, and then they lose the chemistry they already have. And it's just like this vicious circle it keeps going in.
Oh, bro, yeah, that's the LeBron effect, man. Absolutely.
I was going to say it. It's taken them till March half the time to figure that out in other seasons anyways, right, guys?
Oh, yeah.
The lineup.
Yeah. The same thing's going to happen to the Lakers when he leaves the Lakers. Like, it's just the same thing happened to the Heat. What have the Heat been since LeBron left? It's just he leaves this gaping black hole of, like, what do we even do now? Like, we had a...
And it's like we didn't even get anything for him,
Yeah.
That's the weird part about it. Like, nothing. You couldn't have, like, worked out a trade where we got something, like Kuzma even, or anybody, like...
Oh, yeah, I know.
It's just horrible to leave the team like that. It's just so devastating to the team.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, it's not like he did anything to do that. He's just that level of greatness. Like, you don't know what to do once that leaves. You take that for granted. Like, it doesn't matter what lineup you really throw out there with LeBron James. It's you're going to get to the finals. And
then Kevin Love, like, what's going on? This guy, they said he was going to be out for like a couple weeks, and now he's not coming back till like February.
Yeah,
it's like, I don't understand. Well, I think they're going to try to trade him and just rebuild the team.
Well, I think it's deeper than that. He had a physical injury, but now it's coming out that and he's revealing kind of the mental health issues again with the panic attacks and anxiety.
Oh, yeah.
So he's taken just like personal, soul care kind of a leave, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, I don't care if he stays here or goes somewhere else. At the end of the day, that's kind of like a Josh Gordon situation for me. Like, everybody's mad that he's on the Patriots, but, like, I'm just glad that he has a career again and he's actually looking healthy. And I would want the same for Kevin Love, even though it's a different situation of health. I would want the same thing.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, we don't know what we're doing. But the silver lining is this isn't that team that LeBron left back in 2010 when our
Anton Jameson and all.
Oh yeah, our best player was kind of washed up Anton Jameson or I guess beat up Verjao, who was always injured. And we had the record
Danielle Marshall.
Yeah,
there were some terrible guys on that team.
Guys that are working at Enterprise now. Like, it's just that's where we were at. So you see Seti out there, and he's a baller, and he's a leader.
I like Osman a lot, too.
Yeah, there's some guys. I mean, obviously Sexton, I think he's going to grow. He just dropped like 29 points the other night.
Oh, yeah.
So,
yeah.
It's coming along. Like, there's guys to watch.
Well, like the veterans and the young guys are like button heads and stuff too. Or like even if they weren't, the media will make them because you know they make up so much things that aren't happening, but then it starts to happen.
Yeah.
Like J.R. Smith was talking about that. He like all the stories they've made up about him.
Yeah.
Half of them they end up becoming true.
Yeah, I think it's just one of those things where it's a really boring season. And so our media has to do something about the Cavs or else it's just going to get lost. So,
man,
that's what happens.
But it always messes with the chemistry of our teams.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It'll change next year. I mean, we're going to get probably a top 3, top 4 pick, and this is what happens to us. LeBron leaves, and we might get the
if we get
Zion
pick. Or Barrett or, oh, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oof. Any of those 3 from Duke would dramatically change a team.
Yep. Yeah, so it's a good year, and you just kind of got to bank on that. That's what happened when LeBron left. We got Kyrie. That changed things. But we need to just not have any sort of discord. We can't have a LeBron-Kyrie situation ever again where everything gets messed up.
Let's fix the front office, please.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. So I see where you're coming from there. All right, I'll shift over here to my Thrive and Dive. So I mentioned Palmer earlier. James Palmer interviewed Tyrann Mathieu after the game, and he also just said this on Twitter after the game. He said 2 things out of the Texans locker room. 1, a lot of respect for Baker Mayfield. Multiple veterans on the defense believe he's going to be the real deal. 2, compared him to Drew Brees. 2, they believe they're the most complete team in the league. All 3 phases carry their weight. So they're speaking about themselves, but they also see that in the future of the Browns. So that's huge. That's a great thrive, I think, to hear your opponent say, hey, that quarterback is the real deal. So I like it. My dive is exactly just following that up. He had that interview with Mathieu, and he said that he had to throw everything. Their defense had to throw everything they could to disguise the coverages to Baker. So it's not a huge dive, but the 3 interceptions came from the rookie quarterback situation, our offense being so young, they weren't able to read this level of disguised coverages. And so that's what led to the interceptions and our problems today. And I'm sure that's going to get fixed, but right now that's a dive. So that's where I land today.
Yeah, I mean, those are obviously your thrive is very positive, and I think the dive is predictable because of this young team that we have, and because of Baker. So it's people are going to get, there's a lot of people who thought the sky was falling today. You know what? This is just it was. In the end, this is going to be a great learning experience for Baker. He's going to pick up a lot of stuff from this game. So it's Absolutely. Just the kind of game you got to play sometimes.
The greatest that ever played it have had bad games.
Absolutely.
This guy is so hard on himself. He's going to bounce back and probably throw 5 touchdowns the next game.
Oh, yeah. And we've seen it. Way better quarterbacks had horrible first games when they came into the league. It's taken quite a few games for Baker to have this kind of game, and it wasn't even that bad. He still handed the ball off to Chubb for a touchdown and still threw a beautiful touchdown to Higgins. And Bruce Arians was Bruce Arians is like, the biggest fan of Baker Mayfield right now, which might say something in the future.
I'm an Arians guy. I like him too.
He said, how beautiful was that pass? I mean, how he drifted it, how he dropped it right into the bucket in Higgins' hands, and then Higgins with a beautiful catch. But he couldn't have made that kind of catch without it being right there. That accuracy was phenomenal. So, well, let's pivot over here to our last segment, IQ Test, which is brought to you by Ticket IQ. We'll talk our bold predictions for the Browns' future, which it's only 4 games left, y'all. So let's blaze through this. Rod, why don't you kick it off? What's your bold prediction for the Browns upcoming?
Well, I don't know if it's so bold, but I'm gonna pretty much stick with what I've been saying. I think the Browns are going to bounce back with a win versus Carolina, and I think they're going to win 2 out of their last 4 games. So I think they'll beat Carolina and they'll beat Cincinnati. I don't know. They could even end up winning 3. I'm not definitely not counting them out of either of the other 2 games. I just think they'll win at least 2 more games this year, and I think we're going to see a pretty nice bounce back versus Carolina next week.
Yeah, I mean, the Buccaneers just put it on the Panthers today, 24-17. I mean, that gives us hope.
Yeah.
Man. Tampa Bay can beat them. We can beat them.
We should beat them by like 100 then, right?
Well, that's bold. I'll go lunacy on
They might as well just call the game now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Simulation on Madden. There you go.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, what we do, James, is we kind of grade these on a scale of genius or lunacy, or we just say somewhere in between if we're not quite sure. So I'm going to say genius to that, Rod, and I'm even pretty confident that they'll take 3 of the next 4 games. I think that what needs to be fixed will be fixed, and this team is not messing around. They're not trying to lose their last couple of games. If anything, they're trying to give everything to win these last few games. So I got to go genius there. So, James, what would you say?
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with genius as well. I actually had written down here that I thought they were going to at least win 2 games, and the 2 I had was Carolina and Cincinnati. So
yeah.
I think we're picking up what each other's putting down over there, Rod.
Yeah, I think so. Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I'm excited for Lamar Jackson versus Baker Mayfield, man. That's a good way to end the season.
Exciting game that's going to be.
Yeah, that'll be great. All right, James, why don't you hit us second here? What's your bold prediction for the upcoming Browns?
All right. For my IQ, I do have them winning the 2 games, as I said. I have them closing out, 500 in the last 4 games. But I went ahead with the IQ, and I'm going to say that Dorsey brings in Arians as the head coach for the upcoming seasons. I think he's going to keep Williams and Kitchens. And then I think if they keep building through free agency and the draft, I think they make the playoffs and win at least 9 games next season.
What do you think, Rod?
Well, I will go genius on the 9-7, at least 9-7 next season. And the coaching part, I'm still struggling with. Guys, I just don't know that we have any idea what direction John Dorsey's going to go after the season.
Yep.
And, and I think I don't even know how much the next 4 games are going to determine what he's going to do after the season. He may already know what he's doing. And I guarantee you, nobody's going to find out until he wants them to find out. So,
absolutely.
I like Williams and Kitchens there. I kind of like the idea of Arians. I don't think he's the only possibility who could come in, and be a good coach for him. I think there's other possibilities, but I just don't know. So I'm going to go. I don't really want to go lunacy on the Arians because Dorsey may like it, but I'm going to go somewhere in between lunacy and genius on that one because I don't think we have any idea what's going to happen there.
Oh, yeah, brother, I can dig it.
Bonesaw is ready. Oh, I love that. I'm going to go genius on all of it.
Hell yeah.
You sold me, yeah. You sold me on Arians. You know what? It's a different story here, Rod. I know everybody's been saying, he smoke-screened everybody. Nobody knew he was going to get Baker. But that's 4 first-round quarterbacks that you have that opportunity to smoke-screen with. Here's Bruce Arians, who's the biggest fan of Baker Mayfield on TV, and he's a Freddie Kitchens kind of guy. I mean, Kitchens was like his disciple in a way, and so we've seen Dorsey go this way before to get the veteran guy, and I could see it really play out to where Williams and Kitchens stay on. And this is the easiest way to keep them on, and the momentum going into next season. And there's been really no issues with this coaching change since. And so I don't think Williams is going to be bothered by going back to defensive coordinator. That's his sweet spot. And I think you can keep this whole thing intact, which is what this young team needs next year, and Bruce Arians, a very high quality, known head coach in the league who's proven. I know he's a little bit older, but I mean, that's not really a problem. If you want Freddie Kitchens to even become the head coach at some point, you have a perfect setup. So I don't know if you can really smokescreen this one. I think that might be the best way to go. And I don't think John Dorsey's going to go with the college coach. So I go genius on all of it, and definitely the 9-7.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to be a college coach. I just don't. But
I don't either.
The whole idea is, does Dorsey have somebody in mind or a list of guys that he brought with him to Cleveland, saying that when he was gone, he wanted to bring one of his guys in? And is he more interested in doing that than he is keeping everything else together after the season? And that's what we don't know. So that's what we'll find out. I mean, you guys could be 100% accurate. He may love the idea of Arians coming in and keeping the rest of the staff intact. And if that's what he wants to do, that's what he's going to do. But the great thing about Dorsey is he's going to do what he wants to do. He's not going to be influenced by other people. Mm-hmm. So if he thinks Arians is the guy, that'll be it. And if he doesn't, then Arians is not going to get a solid shot at being the coach in Cleveland, no matter how badly he wants the position.
Right. Yeah, and that is the mindset of Dorsey that we've seen. I just feel like, for me, it's one of those things in leadership where you've seen something work and you continue to use that thing that works, and he did that with Andy Reid with the Chiefs. Yes. And so I feel like his short list could probably be, since it's a veteran head coach that he's had success with to bring in, is like McCarthy and Arians. And please, God, right. I don't want Mike McCarthy.
McCarthy just got let go, by the way.
Did he?
Yeah, Packers just gave him the boot.
See, so I don't feel like you can even pick that guy up once you get
It's not going to be McCarthy, you guys.
Okay,
it's not going to be McCarthy.
I'm not interested in McCarthy.
Me neither. No, so
it would be a coordinator from KC or Green Bay, more than likely. If he has a guy in mind, it'd be one of those guys.
Yeah, right.
Right.
I'd agree.
All right on. Well, I'll close this out here. I've been kind of impressed with Rashad Perryman lately, and I am going to say my bold prediction is that he is revitalizing his career here, and he's going to finish the season with 3 touchdowns before the season ends in these next 4 games. You look at his snap counts the last 3 games before today. Today's snap count wasn't released yet when I wanted to look it up, but 34.7% of the snaps versus Kansas City, 24.5% versus Atlanta. But again, that's kind of a game script thing. Nick Chubb was running all over the Falcons. You don't need to throw the ball a ton when Nick Chubb is just owning the game. And then 54.7% of the snaps at Cincinnati. I did not realize he was out there that much. They're trying to use Perryman and see what he can do. And then over the past 4 games, including today, his yards per catch is 13.4 yards per catch through the last 4 games, including today's game at the Texans. So I think he's going to continue to build rapport with Baker. He's a nice 6'3" receiver, a first-one draft talent, and I think he's going to grab 3 touchdowns to close the season.
Well, you know what? I think I'm going to go genius on that. I think that bust term's been following him around too long. As we've seen his snap count get larger, you can see the speed. He's got that ability, that big play ability in him. So, I'll go genius. I agree. I think he might even get a few more touchdowns than that if they integrate him more in the offense like they have been.
I hate to break up the party, guys. I'm going to go lunacy on this.
Okay.
Here's my issue. I think they're definitely trying to, to give him a shot to get him worked in. He's 2 catches for 26 yards today. He looks good. Okay, great, but 2 catches. He's just got other guys in front of him that are more likely to catch touchdowns. So I don't think he's going to come close to scoring 3 touchdowns. He might find the end zone this season. And, but I think you're right. The Browns are trying to find, or trying to cultivate him into the player that he should have been throughout his career with the size and speed. And you have to like the fact that he's catching the ball now.
Right, just the player he was in college. Jeez.
Yeah, so I think they're trying to get him going. I think they would like to have him, be a big part of the team next year if they like what they see over the remainder of the season. But I just think Baker is, and Kitchens, they're more interested in getting the ball to the other wide receivers. I think he's really
Higgins is a good one. I like him a lot too.
Baker and Higgins have a good rapport, so you got Higgins and Callaway and Juice, and I think those guys are all more likely to catch touchdown passes than Perryman right now. So I like what you're talking about, Chad, but I don't think he's going to score 3 touchdowns.
Hey, that's okay. That's why it's bold. We'll see how it unfolds. All right, so
future shot, brother.
That's right.
Right.
You miss 100% of the shots you don't take. Michael Scott, Wayne Gretzky. So, all right, James, can you give the people your Twitter, where they can find you?
Well, goodness gracious, you can find me. You can find me on Twitter under the name James C. Turner Jr. Also on Snap. I don't know if you guys do that, but at James Turner 216, and then hopefully you'll hear me more on this lovely podcast with these gentlemen.
There you go. Love it. Find James there, people. And Rod, any last words?
I just want to thank James for coming on. Good to talk to him. Good to get his input, and great to hear those voices. And I just want to tell everybody in Cleveland, just keep your head up, man. It's like people are. It just seemed like people were ready to jump off the cliff today. And it's like, guys, it's one game. It's one game against a good team.
Yes.
Just take a step back, sit down.
We've been through much worse, guys.
Yeah, and realize that you're watching Baker learn and mature and play before we really even thought he was going to be playing.
Just remember, at one point, Drew Carey was the most popular person in Cleveland, so we're not there anymore.
So, I just want people to just kind of relax a little bit on the fact that, that not everybody, but a lot of people are really getting upset about this game. So, you know what? It's one game. It's over. And I look forward to better games this season and to this team building for the future.
Agreed.
I love it. Thanks, guys. This has been the Brownie Sunday Podcast. Cheers.